guys, and welcome back. And we are today joined by my great friend Sean. You've seen him on the channel. We've done Batman shit a long time ago. Say hello, Sean.
Hello there.
Hello. And today we are talking about his fucking favorite franchise, Star Wars, in celebration of the new Mandalorian and Grogu. And we have, as we like to call, tier lists. We're going to be tier listing every Star Wars movie from Episode 4 all the way to the new Mandalorian Grogu. As you can see, we have our nice tier lists. Would you want to name off the tiers that we have?
We have The High Ground. We have This Is Where the Fun Begins. Misa Meh, Scruffy Looking Nerf Herder, and Bantha Fodder, also known as Bantha Poop.
Bantha, like a bantha fodder. So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to rank every single Star Wars movie, give our opinions. There's going to be some hot takes in here. There's going to be some hot takes that we have for sure. But I'm excited to get into this because we've never talked about Star Wars before on the channel at all, either one of us. We've always just done Batman shit. So I feel like we're going to have some interesting things to say. So we're going to kick it off with A New Hope. So where do you feel like A New Hope lands?
So I think for me, this is either going to be This Is Where the Fun Begins or Misa Meh.
What the fuck?
I'm leaning more towards. There's a part of me that wants to put it in Misa Meh if we're going to be really harsh, but I think because of the history, it's the OG one. I think This Is Where the Fun Begins. Is where I like.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised by that. I really thought you were going to be like, nope. Classic high ground,
no,
it's the original Star Wars.
No, we have to be harsh for that. I want to keep the high ground limited for sacred only.
Yeah. So I think personally for me, I think it's going to land for Misa Meh. It's probably my least rewatchable Star Wars movie. Like I never go back to A New Hope.
Fair.
So I'm fine with putting it in Misa Meh if you want to be that harsh.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm actually okay with that. I personally was
starting off strong. There's gonna be so many purist Star Wars people. Like you're putting the original movie mid tier. What the fuck? I'm clicking off this shit.
It is an excellent movie. I love it. But I think rewatchability with Star Wars is something that's very important to me. Same, I think it's of the original trilogy, it's the one I go back to the least. And
I agree with that.
I just think the pacing is a little slow. I think the story, as great as it is and as iconic as it is just not as like crazy impactful as the other ones are. And I mean, I think generally Austin and I agree on what the high ground is going to end up looking like, but I think Misa Meh is a fair place for this. I think it's right on the cusp. I think it's the number one in Misa Meh, but we'll see, but I'm good. I'm happy with that placement.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like I said, any cut, whether it's the original, the new ones that he's done with the Blu-rays and the Disney Plus ones, there's never been a cut of this film that I've ever found myself walking away being like, oh, I can't wait to rewatch that, like these other ones in this list. Like, New Hope to me is exactly what I think it is. It's a meh. Like, I understand the culture phenomenon of this movie. I mean, this movie started everything you see here on this list, but I never go back to it because I think there's just so many better entries in the franchise that I'm like, I think they're better than the original. So
I agree. All right, next one.
So, Empire. I think I know where you're going to put this one.
Yeah, I think this is a very, very easy, the high ground. I think for me, when I think of Star Wars, half of what I think about comes from this movie. When I think about Star Wars, when I think about my childhood, when I think of like the best version of Star Wars, if I want somebody to see it for the first time, like this is the movie. I think it just has all the parts. It has the action. It has the story. The impact to this franchise.
And for me, like outside of we'll get to it when we talk about it, Revenge of the Sith, but outside of Revenge of the Sith, I still say I think this is the movie that also got me into Star Wars. If it wasn't for Empire or Revenge, I probably wouldn't be a Star Wars fan, just because that's how great those two movies are. But Empire, I think, is like arguably the best out of that original trilogy. I know there's Return of the Jedi fans, but I think that's arguably the best one out of that trilogy. And I don't know if it was just because of the fact that like it was so dark, or you got that huge Darth Vader reveal. Like I don't know what about that movie was so like holy shit level, but I'm glad it is a holy shit movie because like I don't. and I've never seen it on the big screen. I mean, you've seen pretty much all these movies on the big screen, so I don't know. Like,
Mhm.
did that make you love the movie more watching it on the
Yep,
big screen, or
100%.
you know?
Such a cool experience. And I've now I think the only one of the original 6 I haven't seen in theaters is the Clone Wars, but
Mm,
it's really cool to be able to go and see these live and watch it in the theater and just enjoy it for what it is. Especially just it's such a different experience in theater. So no, but I think Empire is the Star Wars movie in my opinion, and
mhm.
I think the other one I'm going to lean towards putting up there is it contends with it, but yeah, no brainer. This is the high ground. This is the Star Wars movie.
Is there anything about that movie that you think would like that you had any like negatives on, or just over time have found flaws?
Not really. I think
Mm,
the pacing is much better than the first. I think the story is a lot better. The character development for each individual, main Rebel 5, whatever you want to call it, like all those
mhm.
main people just develop so good in this series or in this specific movie that it's hard to have any complaints about it.
No, that's fair enough. I don't disagree. So, where do you think Return of the Jedi is going to place? Because
So
we might differ on
I'm
this one.
I'm actually happy with how this is shaping up, but I think this belongs. This is where the fun begins, because I think
Really?
for me of the original trilogy, it goes Empire, Return, 4, New Hope, and I
Yeah.
love that it's now shaping up that way because that to me makes the most sense. I will always
Yeah.
like Empire more than 6. And
Of
I
course.
think
Yeah.
there is another Star Wars movie that I like even more than 6 that goes in the high ground. So for me, it's an easy placement on this is where the fun begins because I'm someone when it comes to tier lists, like I don't like putting too many things in the top tier. Like
In the same
maybe,
category. Yeah.
yeah. It's like 2 to 3 max in that highest category. And
Yeah.
I think for me that this one is not as good as one of those other ones. So this is where the fun begins for me.
See, what's funny is you kind of convinced me because I was originally just going to say I would argue to put it in Misa Mix because I kind of feel the same way about Return that I do with A New Hope, where I never find
Mm,
myself going back to it. But then I started thinking, and I was like, I kind of out of the three, even though it's not the one I go back to, obviously I go back to Empire the most out of that
yep.
original trilogy. It is the second most. And so if
Yep.
we're gonna categorize it based off of like second best, it would
Yep.
be arguably in This Is Where the Fun Begins. So I don't disagree with
Yeah,
that.
and just to talk about like the movie itself instead of why, like ranking wise, Return is great. It's such an amazing fun watch, and
It's gonna be
I
hard going
will.
after Empire. That's the only thing. It's just
It's
it's
hard
one
to
of
beat
those
Empire.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Hard to beat Empire, and like for me, when I think of this one, it's just I love the memories of thinking about Endor, and I've actually been to the forest where they filmed it and getting to walk around there. Like it's just very nostalgic. It's awesome. It's cool to see, the prophecy fulfilled and like Anakin saving the day at the end and throwing Palpatine over. Anakin is the chosen one, not Luke. That's I'll die on that hill. You know,
Yeah.
it's a perfect wrap to the trilogy, but very very hard to beat Empire when
And
it's
and
side
for
by side.
me, I feel like Return is a lot better movie once you see Anakin's story in the prequels
Yes,
because it makes
agreed,
that moment when he turns and it makes the moment where he
agreed,
sacrifices him and shit. It makes it a lot more impactful. Where I
agreed.
don't know if back in the day, if you didn't have that context, if that scene would still hit as hard.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
where I think it's the machete watch order makes so much sense
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
before you go 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then 6. So you go
Yeah.
rewatch or you go watch the story of Anakin before you see 6, and you learn about him becoming Darth Vader, and I think that's why that watch order is so amazing for people, especially for the
Of course.
first
Yeah.
time watching Star Wars. It's a really
Oh
good
yeah.
way to
If this
do it.
flows.
It flows
Yeah.
really well. And I think with what you said, I going back to like my dad's another big Star Wars fan. He actually likes 4 more than 6, so he'd probably put
Really.
6 in number Misume versus this is where the fun
So he'd probably
begins.
already clicked off this video then.
You're entering a world of pain.
No, I don't think he would click off. I think he would kindly disagree, but I think it's partially due to
Yeah.
what you said of like you and I grew up in the era with the prequels. Like we grew up attached to Anakin and the story of Anakin, and getting to see the closure on that, now as an adult and like watching all
Of
the
course, yeah.
content at once.
Because
It's
back in
so
the
cool.
day, their Anakin, which is our Anakin, but their
Yeah,
version of Anakin was Luke. Like they were
Luke.
following Luke's
Yeah,
story. So to
they
them, they
followed Luke.
didn't care about Anakin's redemption or anything. They were just
Yeah,
like, yeah, Luke's story is complete.
yeah. So it's cool that like generationally there's just different perspectives on
Of course,
who the main character is. And for me,
yeah,
like I'll always kind of argue that Anakin's the main character of Star Wars,
of
and
course. I mean,
Luke
he's the chosen one. He
is
has to
he
be.
is the
Yeah,
chosen one. But if you ask somebody who watched the original trilogy when they first came out, they're like, Luke is the guy. Luke is Star
yeah.
Wars.
Now we
Luke
got to argue
is
with those dumbass Ray kids.
oh no. Oh boy. Yeah.
You're gonna have those Ray kids in 10 years. Like, no, it's Ray. She's the.
I think we're on the same page though. We could jump on
Yeah.
to another very contentious one here.
Yeah. So we have episode 1. Where do you feel like episode 1 will land?
So
I'm leaning a little bit towards the messy, scruffy looking area. Like I'm leaning there.
So my personal preference is Misame. But
Yeah.
I'm cool with doing scruffy looking nerf herder if you're gonna disagree. I have a lot of nostalgia with this one. This was the one that my grandma had a VHS copy of, and it was the only one I could watch for a period of time. So I love Phantom Menace with all of its quirks and terribleness at times, and even Jar Jar. But I still have a lot of fun with the peaks of Phantom Menace. Like for me, quintessential Star Wars scenes in Phantom Menace. You've got pod racing is just one of the coolest sequences in all of Star Wars history. You've got Duel of the Fates, the soundtrack, which is incredible. But then you just have Duel of the Fates, the fight, where it's the literal like Duel of the Fates. If Qui-Gon survives, Anakin's a different person. If Obi-Wan surviving, he's a different person. The two different fates, two different outcomes for Anakin. So iconic, so amazing. Naboo is one of my favorite planets in Star Wars, and having been to like Lake Como, it's just super cool. So for me, I think Misa May, but I'm also okay with scruffy looking nerf herder if you want to keep pushing things down a little.
The reason why I would not put it in Misa Meh more than Scruffy is I don't disagree. The pod racing segment is amazing. The Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan fight is arguably probably the best choreography lightsaber fight. I mean, it's up there next with Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight from episode 3. Like, it's a great choreography fight. And of course, the Duel of the Fates score is like iconic.
Yeah.
But the problem I think with that movie is it has the highest moments, like a lot of great high moments, but it's those in between moments for me. It's those in between moments getting to those high moments that I always find very sluggish. I always find it very like snail's pace, and that's what always brings me back. For like I'll be excited to watch Phantom Menace, and then I'll remember, oh yeah, there's that long walk with Jar Jar in the woods, and there's this segment. There's just these lull periods that always takes me back, and it makes me go, I don't know if I want to watch. I'd rather just go watch the 20-minute fight on YouTube and get the same feeling. Like it's
fair.
Never a movie that I ever feel like I need to rewatch fully again, unless I'm either watching it with somebody else or I just need to get like caught up on the lore. But I never find myself going back to watching it fully, so that's why I'm leaning more towards the scruffy.
I'm cool with Red
Men, if you're fine with that.
Yep, cool with that.
Now we got episode 2.
This is very easy for me. This is Bantha fodder.
Really?
Of all of Star Wars.
I figured maybe
of all of Star Wars, it's probably the one I've seen the least. I think it's the most skippable of this original 6 in that you could skip most of the movie and not really care. And a lot of the times I do, like when I've done my full 9-episode watch throughs in a day and day and a half, I'll skip through most of the movie. And I'm just really like pushing the line to get a couple of the cool scenes. And then I'm getting to.
So you feel like you feel about that movie like I do about Phantom Menace.
I think Phantom Menace still has those problems, but I think there aren't enough highs in Clone Wars to justify it being at the same tier as Phantom Menace.
Fair enough.
Like
I'll tell
this
you
is
what.
a hard line for me.
I don't believe it personally belongs in Bantha Father, but I believe if you gave me Scruffy, I'll give you that one. So I feel like it's a good
Okay.
trade off.
I think
feel
for
like that'd be a
me,
good
like I
trade-off.
will die on the hill that Phantom Menace has to be a tier above Clone Wars. So
So it worked out
like,
perfectly.
it worked out perfect. I will defend that to the day I die. Like you
See, that's the thing.
cannot
I don't
tell
hate
me
that movie as
Clone
everybody
Wars.
else does. Like I
It's
don't hate Attack of the Clones. Everyone says like that's the worst of that trilogy. I still say Phantom Menace is. I enjoy Attack of the Clones more just because I like the story between Padme and Anakin. Like it's cringy as fuck, I know, but I
dude.
like it because it to me it's a very good like it sets up how tragic his story's about to be in Revenge
I
of the
know,
Sith when he
but
loses
it's
it
just
all.
it's done poorly, and
It
like
is. It is. I'll
it's
100%
very
agree. It is done
important to
poorly.
the story. But like in the greater scheme of Star Wars now, you can go Phantom Menace, watch the Geonosis battle, and then just go watch the Clone Wars show and get way more character development than Anakin than you need to
Of
from
course, yeah.
this movie. So for me,
Go for
like
it.
the
I don't
fact that I
disagree.
could take it out of the current canon and we could still get all of that story in another part of Star Wars, like I don't see the point.
Plus,
Where
I also like seeing the creation of all the Jango clones, all the
yeah, I
stormtroopers and
mean
stuff.
it's
I
neat.
like that whole segment.
It's neat, but like once again, I feel like you could take it away and it's not it doesn't take away from the greater Star Wars story. You know, where if you
I
took
understand.
Phantom Menace away, it takes away from the Star Wars story.
Yeah,
There's
no,
too
I get that. I
many
get that.
big things in Phantom Menace, you know.
Yeah. So now we're on to this one, which I think we both. I don't even have to probably ask. I think it's going to go in high ground, right?
Yep, super
Yeah.
easy.
Okay.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
This is my childhood. This is Austin's
Yeah.
childhood. Like best
I give
fight
you the popcorn
scenes,
bucket from the
best
re-release that came
yes,
out
yeah,
last
yeah,
year.
yeah. Best fight scenes, best battle scenes, best story, like most sad, the happiest. It's awesome across the
Still to this
board.
day, dude, I get goosebumps. When I saw it in the theater last year, I've seen that movie countless times on Disney
Mhm.
Plus, DVD, whatever. I still got goosebumps when they fucking click the mask on. You hear him
Yep,
breathing for the
yep,
first time
yep,
at the end
yep.
of the movie. Every time that shit gets me because it's just how like cool that scene fucking is. Like that is one of the best Darth Vader anything in media. It's him getting the suit on for the first time in
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Yep. Nope, I'm with you. I don't think we even did talk about this one more. I think everyone's gonna
Yeah.
be fairly
No,
similar.
for sure.
It's in the top 3, and I think it's
I would love one of my like because you've seen movies back in the day get treatment and you're like what the fuck were they smoking. I would have loved to go back in the day because we were just kids. I would have loved to have seen what the hell was the discourse going on with this movie because you remember when it first came out it kind of got not shat on but people were like it was okay and I'm like
yeah,
what did y'all watch that was just okay because
yeah. And it's just
I would have loved to seen that.
we grew up with this as our Star Wars where they didn't. So they're comparing it
Yeah.
to the original 3 and it's a different story. Like well it's the same greater story but like slightly different storytelling. So
Yeah.
this
I
is
get
where
you.
the real fun begins because I think from here on out it's all fairly
We're gonna have some different
contentious.
opinions.
Different opinions.
Time to abandon ship.
I think this first one is going to come out really hot, and I don't know
Force
if you're
Awakens.
ready.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're ready
Okay.
for where I want to put this, but
I'm just ready
my
to
hot
hear it.
take is Force Awakens belongs in the blue category, in my opinion.
This is where the fun
This is-
begins.
I do think it goes up there. And this is a hot take because I'm saying the thing that copied episode 4 is better than episode 4.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with that. Yeah, like,
But
I think
at
the clone of episode 4 is better than episode 4. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just very fun. It was very cool. It was really crazy to get to experience the hype of new Star Wars movies coming out as like a actual person rather than a child. You know, when the prequels came out.
It was nice to be a part of the hype. Yeah.
There's stuff I don't like. There's stuff I absolutely love. But I think for me, this is either Misa May or this is where this fun begins. But I can't see it going any lower for me.
So if you asked me when I walked out of the theater in 2015, I would have said this was the high ground easily because I absolutely loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I think now seeing where the whole trilogy's gone from Last Jedi to Rise, to me it's tarnished the Force Awakens because there was so much in this movie they set up that they've either just threw away, they gave a shitty explanation to, or they just flat out did poorly. So I feel like it's in a lot of ways have ruined this movie. So it's definitely jumped down for me. So I would lean more towards a Misa Meh personally because I've never rewatched it because of everything that they've done after this trilogy. Like I've
See,
never had
that's
the
the
urge to want to
thing.
watch it.
This is the one of the newest trilogy that I rewatch the most. Like I go back to it pretty frequently, and it's one that I actually enjoy going back to. So,
oh yeah, I think like out of the three, I would have a better time watching Force Awakens because I wouldn't get as pissed off or frustrated with some of the decisions. I can kind of piece together my own ideas of where they should have gone, but it's just the most frustrating out of the three because of the fact that there was so much setup, there was so much potential and build up that they could have paid off. And you see it right there in front of your eyes. You see it with the Snoke character. You see it with Rey's origins. You see all the Knights of Ren, and then they just kind of threw it away. So it's like the most frustrating Star Wars movie to watch because there were so many cool things they introduced in it that just never got paid off or just never went anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's tough. I do really like this one. I'm fine putting
in the Misa Meh category. Would you put it in front of A New Hope or behind A New Hope?
I'm fine to leave it behind. We'll leave it behind.
Yeah. I was leaning more to that too.
But yeah, I actually do really like Force Awakens to this day, and I think you could watch it.
I still do. I mean, if you ask me
watch
out of that
it
trilogy,
as a standalone.
I would obviously say it's the best one out of that trilogy for sure. But it's just when you put it as like a package, when it's a together.
And the thing is, I'm trying to treat these somewhat as standalones. Like I don't know the context of the other ones. What do I actually rate it? And this is one where, for me, like standalone movie, it's really pretty fun. It's a fun watch. It's good Star Wars content. As much as people shit on Rey, like I really liked Rey's character.
I liked her in this movie. Yeah, I was intrigued. I was interested. Yeah.
So, for this next one,
like I even liked Finn. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next one.
Last Jedi. Where do you feel like Last Jedi lands?
Please do not argue with me here, but this is bantha fodder.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
Oh, it is bantha fodder. It is the shaming of Luke Skywalker, the kink or the cuck shaming of Luke Skywalker, you might say. You've got the waste of time that is the gambling planet, the corny ending to it, where all of a sudden Rey is like twice as powerful than she was a few months before.
They've been doing that with the Force ever since Force Awakens, where they're just adding lore to the Force, and it's like that was never established. What the fuck?
You could tell that it was directed by a different person, and I think if they
you could tell it was directed by somebody who didn't know Star Wars,
didn't know Star Wars, and also wasn't in the original planning room. So for me, this one cannot go above. Like it has to be in bantha fodder, and I think it's worse than Attack on the Clones.
Oh no, for sure. I think Last Jedi out of those two is arguably going to be the one that pisses me off the most. I can have fun with Attack of the Clones, but the only thing I'll give Last Jedi 2 flowers. I love how they handled Princess Leia in that movie.
Yeah.
Because at the time, was it this movie or Rise of Skywalker? I'm getting confused with like she actually passed away in. Was it this one?
I believe the next one.
Was it the next one? Okay, never mind. I'll take that flower away because I was like, I thought this was the movie that actually put her, like, had her funeral, had her all that stuff. So I thought that was this one. So
let me
I would say the only flower I'd give it to is it had some pretty cool visuals. Like I liked the way the movie looked. Like it had some pretty cool like visuals, but outside of that, I'm like, everything else. Yeah, you're right. I mean, with the Luke Skywalker old man hating everything. Is it Rise of Skywalker?
I confirmed that the Leia treatment is Rise of Skywalker, not Last Jedi.
Right. Okay. I couldn't remember, but yeah, so I'll take that flower away. Then I'll just give it the fact that it is a decent. Like I do like the battle between Luke and Ben on the planet there at the end, but I feel like that's it. Like that's the only thing that movie really has going for it is that one cool lightsaber sequence. outside of that, I think everything was pretty dumb. Where you have Rey, like they're kind of forcing this Rey and Kylo love relationship that I'm just not a big fan of. Grumpy old Luke the whole time, and then you have just Poe and Finn that are pretty cool characters in Force Awakens. They just kind of get sidelined in this movie, and they don't do anything. Like,
nothing of value.
Kind of, yeah. Now this one, I'm going to be probably a little bit harder on the Rise of Skywalker than you are, but I'll let you make your case.
I think this one, for me, is a scruffy-looking nerf herder. I would say I prefer this one more than Attack of the Clones. Like, I would rather rewatch Rise of Skywalker than Attack of the Clones. And then I'd also rather rewatch this one than Rise of Skywalker, or Last Jedi. But I could see you putting it in Bantha fodder easily.
I never liked this movie, anything about it. Like, ever since I've watched it, I was like, I don't like the Palpatine clone thing. I think it's stupid.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I think the whole somehow Palpatine returned is just lazy. And the whole, like, I'm trying to even remember some of the dumb shit they introduced in there. The biggest thing that pissed me off really was just the fact that the ending, that whole little section where she heard the voices and shit, and they all came on the ship, it just felt like such an in-game ripoff. Where I'm like, I don't know if this is just coincidence or what, but it just feels like we're trying to have an in-game moment with Star Wars, but you didn't do it properly. Like, the proper in-game moment would have been actual Force ghosts popping up and actually doing something, not just voices. It just felt lazy. It just felt like such a lazy way to end a 9-episode series when I feel like you could have done some really cool shit. And then the biggest one was that you couldn't even have the balls to kill off Kylo. You had to Rey. You couldn't have the balls to kill off Rey. You had to force heal her right at the last second. And it's like, oh, we had to introduce some force healing shit that was never been introduced before in the movies, so we could backdoor and save her. Like, there's just so much things in that movie that I just feel like they just threw some shit together and called it the end. And I'm like, that's disappointing, because you're not only ending this trilogy, you're ending a 9-episode saga.
Yeah. I'm down to put it in Bantha fodder. The only thing I'll push back on you on is the force healing. Like, I'm deep enough in Star Wars. It's not just the cartoons. Like, if someone has taken the time and read the comics or the books or the cartoons, like, force healing's been a thing. It's been around. I just think they introduced it poorly without much context, and also gave it to a character who, once again, at the time, it felt like they were just like super juicing her. Like, they felt like she was already just the most powerful being in the Jedi, like just day one, it felt like. So I'll push back a little bit. Like, the force healing thing I'm fine with. I think they led into it kind of poorly, but yeah, I'm fine putting this in Bantha fodder. But just remember, I've conceded on 2 in a row, which means it's my turn to give me.
Oh, Lord.
Give me what I want! Give me what I want!
I've conceded twice, so you owe me one. And this is the one you owe me. I knew what I was doing. I was very strategic.
Wait a minute. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
So we got to give them a little idea of, like, why why we have such a different opinion on Rogue One. Because
I think Rogue One and the greater Andor universe might be some of the best Star Wars content out there.
Oh no, my friend. This is a mistake, a terrible mistake. They've gone too far. This is madness.
Across the board, I think it is perfect Star Wars.
I can't speak for Andor, but I can only speak for Rogue One.
Andor is incredible, and I can promise your audience will agree with me. You are in the minority that you haven't seen it, and you call yourself a Star Wars fan. Sorry to insult you on your own show, but
no, you're good.
It's true. And I think Rogue One is a perfect story to tell about the sacrifice and the struggle that is rebellion, and not everyone makes it out. And it takes me back to that quote from Andor that I think speaks to this movie very well of I will never see the sun set on the dream. I forget the exact quote from it, but I think people know what I'm talking about.
Decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see.
But
I'll put it on this thing if I can find it.
Yeah, it's from the first season of Andor. And he basically is just saying, like, look, like, I am sacrificing everything to see the downfall of the Empire, knowing that I will never see that day. Like, I will die before the Empire falls, but I will know that I have made my impact. And I think that this story is so perfect in telling that as like a theme in Rebellion and theme across, our world history. It's so beautiful at the end. And then you get the incredible Darth Vader fight scene, the
I'll
battle.
always argue that's one of the best Darth Vader things. Yeah.
The battle on the beach is super cool. I think the sequences across the board, the characters are awesome. And I know people get upset about the whole everyone dies at the end, but I think that's what makes it so powerful, is knowing that they were willing to sacrifice everything to fight for the greater good of the galaxy. So for me, I would love to put this in the high ground, but I think to be conscientious of like how we're placing things, I think it belongs, and this is where the fun begins.
I'll be kind and put this movie in This Is Where the Fun Begins for you. But I'll give my opinion on the movie. I've never got that. Like, ever since 2016 when I walked out of that film, I've always said, and I've stand on it for almost a decade, I don't get the point of the movie, of the fact that I never cared. I never walked away from episode 4 saying, I want to see, like, when Leia made that line of great people have died for these plans, I never asked myself, well, who are these great people? I never cared. And the movie just kind of showed me, I'm like, okay, I don't really care about this Jen Erso lady, that I didn't do enough character development. At the time, I know we have a TV show now, but at the time, Andor was a character I was like, I don't really know enough about you to care. None of the characters to me ever got fleshed out enough for me to be invested in their story by the time that they died. And even though I knew they were going to die, it made it even more pointless to me, because I'm like, well, I know they're already going to die, and you didn't give me anything here to chew on enough for me to enjoy them. So to me, the whole movie was just kind of.
We knew they were gonna die. That's a fake take. Like,
well, no, the only reason I said that was because because we knew where it was heading in A New Hope when they said great people have died for these plans. Well, if the whole point of the movie was them to get the plans to Leia, I already knew they were going to die eventually.
But okay, that's a terrible take. That is such a bad take.
You want to go home and rethink your life?
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Because like you are just immediately assuming that the line from Leia's quote is immediately what's related about this movie, when in reality, like the getting of this plans and like the entire sequence, like we didn't know what was going to happen in that movie. There could have been a ship that took the plans to Leia and died. We did not know it was literally going to be like Leia receives the plans and then it's episode 4 just starts right as Rogue One ends.
No, I didn't know that part. I just meant more of like, I knew these characters weren't going to continue because we've never seen them anymore. And so when you say the word of great people have died for these plans, it's kind of a 2 and 2.
We have never seen them before, so we knew they weren't going to continue. That's a terrible take. Like you are trying so hard to like make this movie bad when it's like, I don't know, just that seems wild to me that you would say that, like, oh well.
No, I've always had I've always had a different opinion on Rogue One. I've never been a fan of it ever since it came out. I've never I've rewatched it a couple times and I've never changed my mind. I've always just been on that island of I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of it. I think it's an unnecessary story that I've never asked myself I wanted to see. Like, I think that's probably my hottest Star Wars take, is that I don't think Rogue One is a movie that was necessary.
I'm going to turn you over to the Jedi Council.
Shame. Absolute.
So where do you want to put Solo? Because I actually kind of like, if you ask me, I prefer Solo over Rogue One. That's probably another hot take.
But so where would you put Rogue One if you had the choice?
Oh, scruffy looking nerf herder.
Fuck, dude. No, absolutely not.
Only reason it wouldn't go in Bantha fodder is that Darth Vader scene. Like, if that movie didn't have that Darth Vader scene, it'd be Bantha fodder all day. But because of that Darth Vader scene, it elevates it to one more tier.
I might have. We can no longer be friends in the future, man. Solo.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna give you your flowers and put it in this with where the fun begins, because I don't agree, but
I think you and I. To move on to Solo, I think you and I have a similar take on it. Of like, I like it. It's fun. I don't think it's awesome, but it's fun. I do enjoy rewatching it from time to time, but I think
I will say this though. I think it's ironically that these two movies are put together because I kind of feel the same way about both of these movies.
I have similar opinions on both. I think Solo for me is Misame. And we can do Mandalorian
Yeah.
Grogu on its own in here in a moment. But like to me,
Yeah.
it is the most average Star Wars movie. Like it is Star Wars content in an hour and a half, 2 hour long movie. Like that's what it's not really like that impactful. The story isn't really that crazy. It's not really giving us a ton of context to the greater lore. Like it's just super average to me. So putting it in the middle tier, I think is the most fair. But it's fun. I enjoy watching it. It's a good one to go back to.
So that's the thing with Solo. I kind of feel the same way about you, where I'm like, I didn't hate it. I know a lot of people hated that film. I will say I hate some of the lore that they've explained. Like I hate how he got his name. I think it's the dumbest thing. He got the name Han Solo because he had one ticket. Like that's just dumb. And then like I didn't like how he for how much hype that they did with this Kessel Run for 6 damn movies. It felt like that they hyped this Kessel Run up. And you see the actual Kessel Run, and it's not even like the greatest. You're like, that was it. That was the Kessel Run. That was the greatest thing that he's ever done. Like, okay. So I feel like that was a little disappointing, the Kessel Run. But I liked actually how he got the Millennium Falcon. I loved how he met Chewie. I loved the fact that him, Donald Glover. I love him as Lando Calrissian. I thought it was great. Do I think that, there are some supporting characters that are not the greatest? Sure. But I think you're not coming here for those characters. You're coming here for Solo. And I thought the dude who played Solo, I thought he was a really good Harrison Ford replacement for like a young Harrison Ford. I thought he was great. So I think I like it a little bit. And I love because this was pre The Mandalorian. So I liked like the 60s Western, spaghetti Western vibe of this movie where it just felt like the old serial kind of thing. So like I would lean more towards this is where the fun begins than Misa Meh, because I do enjoy it a little bit more than probably Episode 4 and Force Awakens. But
I don't know if I could go with you on that. That's to say it's
I gave you Rogue One.
Episode 4. No. You can't do that. To say it's better than Episode 4 is pretty crazy to me. Like I think it belongs.
I just have more fun with that movie. Like on a technical aspect, I have more fun with it. Not saying it's a better story. I just have more. Like if I'm going to rewatch 4 or Solo, I'm going to pick Solo.
Like the term in math is like weighted average. Like if you're factoring in the story quality and the fun and the rewatchability, like to say it's better than 4 is crazy. Like you cannot tell me
not overall like a story. It just like in rewatchability, it's better than 4.
And in just one-time watch, like there's no way that it's above. Like Misa Meh at the end, I think is its fair placement.
So you want to put Solo in between Force Awakens and New Hope in the Misa Meh category, or
at the end, right at the end?
At the end, okay.
Yeah,
we'll put that in the end. There.
I'm gonna.
Now we have new boy on the block. We got the Mandalorian and Grogu. So you want to. This is going to be like, since it's a newer movie.
I know exactly where I'd like. I know exactly where I'd like to put it. To give my quick thoughts on it before I say the rating. This was a Mandalorian filler episode that they extended into a 2-hour cut, and then gave a big budget to 2 stunt doubles to like do a bunch of crazy action sequences and then decided not to have an actual plot.
Yeah.
So that's the high level thoughts. Positive. It was fun. Action sequences were good. I like some of them. They were cool. I think some of the characters were pretty cool to see, but there wasn't really a story. And I walked out the theater and texted a friend of mine saying, well, that was a movie.
Yeah.
It was a movie. It wasn't a TV show, but it was a movie. So I'm going to put this in scruffy looking Nerf herder.
Really? That low? Wow.
Yeah. I don't think it's that great of a movie. Like to me, it was fun. I do want to rewatch it again, but like, it's not as good as 4. It's not as good as 7. I think we could both agree that it's not as good as Solo. And where does that leave you? Like, if it's not better than those 3, it's like
no, for sure, yeah. I don't know. Like, so it was weird. So like, I mean, I texted you. I gave it an 8 out of 10, only because of the fact that like,
I didn't know that. You didn't text me that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I texted you on Instagram. And I said I was like I walked out and I gave it immediately 8 out of 10. Only reason I rated it so high is because of the fact that I had fun with it, but I definitely will never argue the fact that you could tell this was like you could tell they were filming probably season 4, and about
Yep.
3-4 episodes in, they were like, "Fuck this! We're just gonna put it in theaters. We're gonna stitch this shit together and make it a movie." Because that's what it felt like. Like you can even tell the times where like when it cut to black, you could tell, oh, that was the end of episode 1. That was the end of episode 2. Like you could tell, and even then, like the episodes that we like the story that we got, they just weren't that interesting. Like I liked some of the moments. I thought it was cool to see, the Jabba the Hutt's son and like Mandalorian helping and everything, but there was just nothing about this movie that moved the needle with Mandalorian and Grogu. There was nothing that they did with those characters. For someone that we followed for 3 seasons and we have a big budget movie going to theaters, you would think there'd be some sort of movement. There'd be some sort of needle threading. And it just felt like nothing was like there was this. I felt like there wasn't anything here interesting to tell other than we just have a really cool Star Wars character like Jabba the Hutt's son that we want to tell a good story to. But I feel like that would have been a good filler episodes, like you said, in a TV show, not a full length movie.
Yeah,
like
it just
and if you remember, I've been saying this for months with all the trailers and everything. There was nothing that ever told me, hey, you have to go see this. There was nothing ever that told me that this is an important movie for me to go see. It always just felt like this was something they were just slocking out. And even seeing the movie, it validated that feeling even more. Cause it's like, yeah, there was nothing here. Like, I'm not missing anything. I'm not missing anything watching this movie. There's nothing that is telling in the greater Star Wars universe. It just was there.
Yeah,
I had fun with it, but it was just there.
Did not have a lot of substance. I think it was fun, and if I was a kid today, I would enjoy it and I would have had a good time.
Yeah.
But I think my struggle too is knowing that this is technically the last piece of solo content we're gonna get from Mandalorian and Grogu, if I'm not mistaken. Like they're not making another season, and probably not gonna make another movie for them standalone.
Yeah.
So like I went into this expecting closure. Like I was ready to see to throw out a crazy idea, like
story that we've been following for 3 seasons.
I was ready to see Mandalorian die. I was ready to see Grogu die. I was ready to just see something closure related that told us that this was the end of their story, like the main arc of their story. And we didn't really get that. We're now just kind of left in this limbo state of they might appear in some other content here soon. They might come up in the content with, Thrawn and Ahsoka maybe in the future, especially since they're doing all the Empire stuff and hunting the Empire down. But I don't know. There's not much to it. I think it's not as good as 4, 7, and Solo.
No, I definitely would agree with that. I also was more disappointed. Like you, I wanted closure to something because I was at the same mindset. I thought this was like supposed to be like the series finale. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was supposed to be that a couple years ago when they announced the movie, and so like plans changed here and there. But I was like you, I wanted to go in with it being the series finale of the show.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like. They didn't like. I don't know. It was such an uninteresting movie because of the simple fact that they didn't tell anything interesting to say with these characters. And to me, it also felt like the same problem we had with season 3 of The Mandalorian, where it was just like we're just dragging our feet. We're just like we're doing things. Like I mean, there's things in this movie that I'm like Grogu's struggling to do that when not even a season 2 ago he was lifting people, throwing them, but he's like having a hard time doing little force thing. It just seems like. I don't know. I just feel like if this movie would have came out maybe 2 years ago before season 3 of Mandalorian, I feel like there would be something cool, like just a little in between movie between seasons. But if you're pitching this movie as this is the end, and there's nothing really here that ends it, it just kind of was like, okay.
Yeah. So not much more for me to say. I think it's a fun little action adventure. It's Star Wars content,
I would say, in the sense of like the tier, like I said, I had fun with it. That's why I gave it an 8 out of 10. Because on a technical aspect, the movie's not bad, and it's not like a Rise of Skywalker. It's not Last Jedi. It's not any of those. But I would also feel the same way about this that I would like a Solo. But I think I have more fun with Solo because there's more payoffs with that character. Like there's more like I like seeing their origins with Chewie and all that stuff. I feel like there's more payoff. Where with Mandalorian Grogu, I don't. There's nothing in that movie that satisfies me as a Star Wars fan because of the fact that you're not answering any questions, you're not moving the needle forward, you're not doing anything with the brand of these characters that is interesting, like you did with Solo. I kind of feel about it the same way that I would something like a Phantom Menace, where I'm just kind of waiting to get to those high moments.
Yeah.
So I would probably, I would agree. Probably put it. But would you put it in front of or behind Episode 1?
I think behind, personally.
Okay.
I just don't think and it's even hard to put it in scruffy looking Earth Herder just because you're putting it next to Phantom Menace, which, yes, I'm biased, but like that has such impact to the greater story. And like,
what's so sad about this list right here that I'm just noticing?
The needle at all. Like, it's just, it's literally just Mando doing Mando shit for 2 hours, which like is cool.
Which even then, is he even doing anything? Because he just,
Well, then they had a 25-minute sequence where he's just like knocked out, and it's just him.
You just following Grogu,
following Grogu. Like that felt really long, and I was like, okay, this is dragging on.
Dude, Pedro had the easiest paychecks ever. He didn't have to show up. Maybe one day on set.
It's hard to even put it next to Phantom Menace. Like, there's a world where I put this in Bantha fodder if I was in a bad mood.
I will say, I thought it was cool how because this isn't an episode movie, I thought it was cool that they tried attempting a scroll, like a little opening text form. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that when I watched the Mando and Grogu that we're kind of doing like their own little version of a title crawl. I thought that was kind of interesting, but
what do you?
I it's not on
I didn't see that on mine. What are you talking about?
When the movie opened, they kind of give you like a little brief of like what, like where we're at, like what the
Empire.
Oh
yeah. Okay. Little, I was like, there wasn't really a
recap thing.
So
yeah, it was their own version of a scroll of like recapping you and shit.
Yeah, catching up everyone. Okay, fair. That was cool.
But like I said, I agree with you in the sense of like if anything, what I was gonna say was it's so sad looking at this list because if you look at it, all of these are Disney Star Wars movies from Meh all the way down. Besides, obviously, Rogue One, all Disney Star Wars.
I mean, it's not surprising to me at all. Like, I don't find that sad or surprising. It's just
sad in the sense of you look at it. We've had 5 movies now with Disney Star Wars. What is it? 6? We had 3, and then now the 3. Yeah, so 6. We have 6 Star Wars movies with Disney, and they're all from Meh down. There's no like outside of Rogue One, obviously. Which again, I would differ, but I know that's where you put it. But even then, like just 6 movies that are pretty much from Meh down, that's just sad. Like we haven't had a Revenge of the Sith or Empire Strikes Back Star Wars movie come from Disney, and they've had the brand for 12 years.
Yeah.
That's just what's sad. I'm like, fuck. Like, and even that, I feel like this list, if we added the TV shows and the Disney Plus content, I feel like the Meh category and down would just be even fuller.
Yeah, I think it would be decent to. Yeah, I don't think you've seen enough of the other content in Star Wars to do that.
Not the animated. I've just seen the live action shows, but yeah, if we include like the animated and stuff, it would be a completely different list. But I mean, I'm a little happy with this list, honestly. Like, I feel like it pretty much generally combines exactly where I feel like every movie's placed, other than Rogue One. But
you're just wrong on that one. I this is a take that you will regret one day, and I'm glad that we could put you on the right side of history to like Rogue One. So
interesting. Well, maybe one day, I might watch Andor, and then I might be like, you know what, you're wrong, and I'm sorry. And
I look forward to that day. But yeah.
That was fun. For sure. But I like doing this for sure. But yeah, thank you for coming on again. Obviously, it's not the Batman, but we have the Batman coming out. We might have to do a Batman tier list for something, ranking like the movies and stuff, because we differ on Batman as well.
Oops. I said that's actually kind of hard to do because I've really only seen newer Batmans. I haven't really seen a lot of the old ones, so would be kind of hard for me to do. But
fair enough. But yeah,
thanks
again for coming on, man. If there's, do you want to put any social links or any sort of?
My YouTube account is just the username that's on screen there, Shanye@gmail.com. So you can send me a message there. I might see it.
You might see it. You don't know. Fair enough.
I might see it. No, that's my social. Yeah, come say hi.
Yeah, because the Arch. I mean, you're playing Lego Batman right now, so I don't know if you're gonna be
Yeah.
streaming or doing anything crazy like that.
Probably not. I'm just enjoying the solo vibes of playing a cool game, and it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it could be one of my favorite games of this year. So we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, like I said, thanks you for coming on, man. I'm sure we'll probably do another tier list for something. So yeah, go watch his YouTube channel and definitely do all the things that you have to do down below, your likes and comments, all that stuff. So I will see you guys in the next tier list. Bye bye.